Ryan Garcia is better than you think. It's easy to discredit Ryan Garcia. He embodies all the tropes of a hype job: good looks, highly marketable, and charismatic, as well as a social media star. If there is anything people have learned over the years, is don't believe the things you see on social media. But I don't believe that that's the case with Ryan. Now, don't get me wrong, he still has flaws that he needs to work on, as does every fighter, especially on his active defensive maneuvers and movements. But he possesses a great ring IQ. In this video breakdown, I will explain exactly what I mean. Sure, he is a 22-year-old kid, but he plays the chess game of boxing, rather than simply relying on his speed, which is elite for sure, but his setups are arguably just as elite. Let's start off with the end of his fight with Luke Campbell. This perfectly executed liver body shot that ended the fight. To the naked eye, that shot was simply opportunistic. However, when you look deeper into the overarching setup as well as the execution, you realize that the shot is actually much greater than the sum of its parts. Now, in terms of opposition, this was his most difficult challenge yet, and was expected to give us, the viewers, an insight into what Ryan is truly made of. I consider this the best Ryan Garcia performance, and I know it wasn't pretty from start to finish, and he was caught flush on multiple occasions, but it showed us a lot about his offensive awareness as well as his grit. Let's take a closer look at the key elements of his performance. In boxing, the best fighters get in the ring and play a match of chess, using the jabs and momentary reactionary testing as pawns to set up bigger offensive attacks later down the line, trying to set up an overarching strategy to claim checkmate. In round one, both fighters start off trying to set up a tactical ground against one another, trying to understand each other's boxing tendencies. Now, at an elite level, this can be tricky, because as you are trying to understand your opponent's tendencies, you're also trying to have momentary success, as to not leave yourself susceptible to falling behind on the scorecards. This fight became a chess match. Luke, an Olympic gold medalist, came to outbox Ryan, but little did he know that Ryan came to do the same to him, something that many did not expect. Round one. Ryan starts off with a jab to the body. Notice the lack of an aggressive defensive reaction from Luke Campbell. Even with a feint, he barely reacts to the feint. Ryan is registering these reactions to come up with the best possible attack. Again, he jabs, and again, no aggressive defensive reaction from Campbell. Ryan now tests his speed on Luke, launching a small combo, a left and a right hook. Ryan then tests the hook to the body and lands. Ryan registers this successful attempt. These small moments of feints, jabs, and non-reaction to potential body attack is becoming more and more visible, and Ryan is becoming aware of Luke's decision to not defend his body. Campbell is starting to notice the targeting of his body and is preparing for a possible body attack. Garcia then jabs the body as Campbell expected, and Campbell tries to counter with his jab, but Ryan is able to react quickly and move away. Seeing that Campbell is becoming cognitively aware of the body punches, Ryan switches from the body, reading and registering what he has learned about Campbell in the fight so far. This level of patience shows maturity and intelligence on Ryan's behalf, as he wants to ensure he has the upper hand technically and not solely rely on his speed. He also wants to time Campbell for a big shot. Ryan then launches combinations with body shots and notices that Luke is creating priority for defending his head over his body, deciding to allow punches to come in low to protect upstairs. Ryan then goes for another jab and straight, but Luke was ready for the attack and counters with a short jab to keep Ryan honest. Ryan now, after delivering some punches and getting caught with a counter, tests his feints again to see where Luke stands with his reactions. This time, Luke is showing his cards a bit, as the feint makes Luke defend his head as opposed to no reaction as he did before. Ryan feints again, but doesn't get Luke to bite. At the same time, Luke is now starting to see an opening upstairs versus Garcia. Round 2. Luke is now starting to condition Ryan to drop his right hand, and it's working. Luke is planning to spring a big shot upstairs. Ryan again attacks the body, and Luke has no defensive reaction to protect the body. Luke, now seeing a path to catching Ryan, continues to condition Ryan with the left straight to the body. Ryan flurries upstairs and is now himself starting to set up his own trap as he is trying to condition Luke to stay hypersensitive to blocking upstairs. This will be refined and built upon for the rest of the fight. Luke now springs his trap on Garcia and catches him flush, dropping his right hand. If this was chess, this move would be considered a check, and it will be up to Ryan to change that dynamic. The punch rocks Ryan, who shows good physical conditioning as he gets up quickly and puts on a fresh demeanor. Ryan then moves forward right into the center of the ring. This moment shows how much grit and determination to win, even over his own health, that Ryan Garcia has. This knockdown allowed us, the viewers, to see Ryan react to adversity. He didn't stay away, he pushed forward. A scary tactic, but an effective psychological tactic against his opponent. It tells his opponent that you will need to do more than that to put me away. I'm still standing in front of you. This was very telling when it comes to Ryan Garcia and how he would react to a knockdown. But the more important point is that Ryan immediately recognized his error on what Campbell was setting up and instantly adjusted. From this point forward, Ryan will now do one of two things to nullify Luke's offense. He will either keep his hand up on his right side or step back out of range as he anticipates a body shot for added defensive security. After a few attempts, Luke notices that the punch is no longer there and instead pushes forward to take away the step back from Ryan Garcia. Luke is trying to adjust to Ryan's adjustment. Luke continues to attempt his power left, but Ryan has cleverly avoided the attacks with his adjustments and is simply stepping back. Ryan then springs his first trap and lands a nice shot to the body. Luke, as Ryan predicted, is prioritizing his head in his defense. Ryan registers that sequence and Luke's reaction to it. Luke wants to strike gold again, but Ryan has clearly taken the left hook follow-up away from Campbell. Ryan has now taken the center of the ring, essentially regaining his status as the aggressor to end the round. Round 3. Campbell resets and tries to get Ryan to drop his right hand again. However, Ryan has clearly made it very difficult for Luke, as Ryan is either continuing to keep his right hand up or backing up completely, putting himself at a safer distance. Ryan then launches another step-in body shot and no defensive reaction from Luke for his body, further reinforcing Ryan's ability to land that body shot. Garcia then hides the breadcrumbs by shooting upstairs. and Campbell defends well, as that is clearly still his priority. Another feint reconfirms Ryan's setup in the future, as he noticed that Luke is still worried about the headshots. This leads to more unanswered hooks downstairs. Round 4. A partially blocked right hook rocks Luke a bit. Ryan then gets caught after a lazy jab and responds to keep the aggression on his side. Ryan, now seeing a possible angle to further condition Campbell, focus primarily upstairs. Round 5. Ryan continues his attack upstairs and tests the left again to the body. He registers that the shot is still available. Luke unfortunately continues pushing to get that right jab, left hook combination to work, and at this point, he has attempted the sequence so many times that Ryan has prepared a counter. Ryan now steps back but also adds his signature counter left hook upstairs. This masterful addition to his continuous evasion now has Campbell hurt and clearly saved by the bell. Round 6, Ryan, seeing Luke hurt, attempts to go for the kill. This does two things. It creates an opportunity to catch Campbell in his current state and further reinforces the conditioning that Ryan has been building upon the entire fight. The conditioning for Campbell to continue to prioritize his head over his body, as that appears to be the most likely power shot that Ryan is preparing. But little does he know that Ryan is setting up what will become his final trap. Ryan notices Luke's defensive reaction and awareness to his attacks and backs off. Ryan again catches Luke, who has not been able to adjust to Ryan's defense over his left hook, with another step back counter, but Ryan was a bit off balance, so he couldn't land as clean as he did before. At this point, Ryan is clearly winning this technical battle. Luke needs to adjust, as he is losing the fight and is not creating his own offense as he did before. Luke pushes forward, however, he is now aware of the counter left. Ryan can see Luke's awareness of his hook and quickly adjusts his offense by shooting the hook earlier and catches Campbell with a combination hook and straight right. Ryan waits to the end of the round to test the hook to the body one more time. Again, Campbell does not prioritize his defense downstairs. Ryan lands and has given himself the confirmation that he needs to know that he can completely sit down on this punch. The round ends and the trap has been primed and ready. Round 7. Ryan lands the straight right and tests the angle one more time without shooting the hook. Ryan can see it. Ryan makes his decision and springs the trap, sells the hook by a deceptive step-in power shot, which after multiple rounds of head attacks with seldom body attacks, Campbell fully commits to protecting his head and leaves his body wide open to the final devastating blow. Campbell is not able to get up and Ryan wins in spectacular fashion. So, what did we learn about Ryan in his fight, and why do I believe this is Ryan's best performance? Well, it boils down to a few things. Ryan uses his speed to his advantage, but does not rely on his speed to give him the win. He also showed heart and grit and showed his opponent that he will not back down from adversity. This creates a psychological advantage over his opponent and tells us, the viewers, that when the chips are down, he is willing to push forward. We also know his ability to adjust not only defensively, also offensively, and how quickly he can adjust to the appropriate position and reaction. And we learned that he can create overarching strategies using conditioning and deceptive tactics to spring a fight-ending trap. This, my friends, is not fighting. This is chess. And in the 7th round, it was clearly checkmate.